You know how the algorithm works, right?
Yeah.
You linger on a video for just a few seconds. Maybe it's a travel clip, maybe tech.
And suddenly it's all you see?
Exactly. The feedback loop. So imagine you're a young person, maybe struggling to find work, and your TikTok feed starts showing you these incredibly slick videos.
Oh, cinematic quality. You've got beautiful people, stacks of cash, sports cars.
Right. And the caption is promising a gold rush in northern Myanmar.
It looks like Silicon Valley just dropped into a tropical paradise.
It does. They're advertising these high-paying tech jobs, game development, customer service. The whole pitch is you can make in a month what you'd normally make in a year.
It's brilliant marketing, honestly, but it's the bait for a trap that is... it's almost medieval in its cruelty, because when you get there, there's no luxury office.
Yeah.
There are high walls, barbed wire, and armed militias. You're not an employee, you are a piglet.
That is the specific term we need to break down today. Piglet. We are diving into the collapse of the 4 big families of Kokang, Myanmar.
And this is a huge story.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's been developing fast, and it all led to this massive transnational crackdown that really peaked in late 2025. We're talking about the dismantling of criminal dynasties that operated like feudal warlords in the 21st century.
It's absolutely the end of an era for that specific region. This was a massive operation led by Chinese authorities working with Myanmar law enforcement. The scale is just... it's staggering.
Billions of dollars.
Billions in fraud, tens of thousands of victims, and now these severe sentences, including, I think, 11 death penalties just handed down recently.
It's huge. We've got a lot to cover, from, believe it or not, blood sacrifices to survival stories that just sound like movie plots. So let's dive in. Who are these families?
Well, to understand the who, you really have to understand the where. We're talking about Kokang. It's a self-administered zone in Myanmar, right on the border with China.
So it's kind of its own little kingdom.
For years it was, ruled by 4 main families: the Bai, the Wei, and 2 different Liu families. But what's interesting is that the recent crackdown really put a spotlight on a 5th player, the Ming family.
The outliers.
Right. They weren't one of the original 4, but they became, let's say, the most notorious. And their downfall is really what kicked this whole domino effect into motion.
Okay, let's start there then, with the Ming family, because the details are just wild. The head was a man named Ming Zuchang.
The local emperor.
That's exactly the vibe you get. He was a former official, but the source material has this footage of his birthday party, and it's not a party.
No, it's a coronation.
Yes. You have people lining up, bowing, wearing these red sashes and chanting, "Long live Chairman Ming." He built a whole cult of personality.
And then there's his granddaughter, Ming Zenzhen.
What a character.
She's a fascinating and really disturbing figure. On her social media, she was this glamorous 27-year-old socialite.
Always at charity events, winning awards. She had this whole caring angel persona.
It's classic reputation laundering. These syndicates didn't hide. They aggressively curated these public images. But while she was accepting awards, she was managing probably the most brutal facility in the region, the Crouching Tiger Villa.
And Crouching Tiger wasn't just a cool movie name.
Not at all. The sources describe it as a fortress. High walls, electrified fences, and this is just horrific. They literally had a tiger pit.
A real one.
A garden with actual tigers in it used to threaten the victims.
Yeah.
If you didn't meet your quota or you tried to run, well, the threat was very, very real.
The whole thing unraveled for them with the 1020 incident, October 2023. This is what brought the hammer down. What happened there?
It was basically a botched transfer that came from panic. The Mings knew the heat was on. So on October 20th, they tried to move a big group of these piglets from Crouching Tiger Villa to another spot.
And the victims thought they were being freed.
Some did. Others realized they were just being sold to another compound, maybe a worse one, so they panicked. They tried to escape.
And the response from the Ming militia was?
A massacre. The private army just opened fire. Court records say 4 people died right there. Many more were injured. And to cover it up, Ming Zenzhen, the charity angel, allegedly ordered the bodies to be buried.
In a cattle yard?
Yeah, literally under a pile of manure to hide the evidence.
And that seems to be the act that just snapped everyone's patience, especially China's. You can run scams, but you can't just execute foreign nationals and bury them.
That was the line in the sand. The crackdown was swift after that. Ming Zuchang, the grandfather, died during the raid. Official story is suicide.
But the others?
Late 2025, the courts handed down death sentences for 11 people in that syndicate, including Ming Zenzhen.
11. That sends a very loud message. But The Mings were just the first domino. Let's talk about the Wei family. This is where the story gets even stranger.
If the Mings were notorious, the Wei family were the muscle. Wei Huaren controlled the border guard force. He was the only one with actual state-sanctioned military power.
But they also had a public face, right? His daughter, Wei Rong.
Wei Rong. She was the influencer. Her father ran the army. She ran the PR. She'd do these live streams, very articulate, very beautiful, selling this dream of realizing your potential in Myanmar.
She was the siren song.
Perfectly put.
Okay, so we have to talk about the most shocking detail from the sources about the Wei family. I had to read this a few times. The blood sacrifice.
It is genuinely disturbing. You like to think of these as cold, rational criminal businesses, but there was this deeply superstitious, almost primal element. The Wei family bosses practiced what they called a spirit offering.
A death sacrifice. Walk us through this. How does a business justify this?
The belief was that spilling blood brings good fortune, wealth. It's like a twisted vote of confidence. If revenue was down or if they wanted a big harvest on a new scam, the boss would just tell a henchman, go find a stranger.
To a random person.
Completely arbitrary. It didn't have to be someone who messed up or tried to escape. They were just available. They'd grab a stranger or a piglet they considered low value and kill them.
There's that chilling quote in the confession. They asked the killer how they felt.
Right. The interrogator asks, what did you feel? And the guy just says, what is there to feel? It was just a person. It was just a spirit offering.
Like complete dehumanization.
Yeah.
It's
how the whole industry functioned. They didn't see people. They saw livestock. They saw currency.
The Wei family basically ran an iron triangle. Politics, military, and business.
Exactly. And that brings us to the Bai family. If the Wei family was the muscle, the base were the authority.
The political power.
Right. Bai Suo-cheng was the patriarch, former chairman of the region. He controlled the courts, the police, the entire government administration.
And like the others, they had these polished front women. Bai Yinglan, the goddess of charity.
It's the same pattern, isn't it? Using philanthropy to mask atrocities. Bai Yinglan and her sister ran huge corporations like the Henry Group. On paper, they were in real estate, tourism, hotels.
But the hotels were just dormitories for scammers.
And the investments were all money laundering.
And finally, the Liu family. They seem a bit different. They were the landlords.
Yeah, the Liu family, led by Liu Xingxiang, they were the developers. And their philosophy was just fascinatingly cynical. Their motto was basically, make money in Myanmar North, spend it in Myanmar North.
What does that mean in practice?
It means they built the entire ecosystem. The casinos, the KTVs, the brothels, the office towers. They knew the scam bosses and the workers would be flush with cash, so the lease built all the places for them to blow it.
It's a closed loop.
A perfect closed loop. The fraud money stays in the city, and it all filters right back into the Liu family's pockets.
So you've got the Ming terror, the Wei military, the Bai political cover, and the Liu infrastructure. Perfect storm. Let's talk about the people caught in it, the piglets.
That term, zuzai, is so important. It strips away all humanity. You buy a piglet, you fatten it up, which means training them on the scripts, and then you either slaughter it by taking everything they have or you sell it.
And the price for a person skyrocketed.
Oh, yeah. A few years ago, buying a person might cost, say, 20,000 RMB.
About 3,000 US dollars.
Right. By the end, the transfer fee for a skilled scammer was over 300,000 RMB. So if you wanted to leave, that was your ransom. And most people don't have $40,000 just lying around.
And if you couldn't pay?
Yeah.
The torture methods described are they're horrific.
Electric batons, water dungeons. There was a detail about being forced to eat dog food or
worse.
Or worse. The whole point was psychological breakage. They had to break your will so you would do anything, scam your own grandmother, just to avoid another beating.
But some people did survive. And one story really stood out. Chen Kangyu, the Taiwanese singer.
An incredible story of psychological endurance. Chen Kangyu, known as Little Wang Liu, he got trafficked. And he realized very quickly that if he was useful, he would never get out.
If he was a good scammer, they'd just keep selling him.
Exactly, from one park to the next, forever. So he decided to become useless.
He feigned insanity.
For 6 months, imagine the discipline that takes. He pretended to have a low IQ. He'd mutter to himself constantly. He even ate soap to prove he was crazy.
And a typing.
That was the masterstroke. In these places, speed is everything. He forced himself to type at 5 words a minute. Just peck, peck, peck.
So the bosses saw him as a loss.
Damaged goods. They couldn't sell him for a high price. He wasn't making them money. So they basically just warehoused him It bought him time until he could finally be rescued. A brilliant, desperate strategy.
It's amazing. But this wasn't happening in a vacuum. The victims of the scams were everywhere. The sources mention some heartbreaking cases that show the other side of this.
This is why it matters, right? It's not just some gang war in a jungle, it's your bank account. There was that case of the actor Lee Xingwen's wife got her through a fake shipping link, drained her savings.
And the tragedy in Shanghai, that one really stuck with me.
Gut-wrenching. A man in his 50s gets into a crypto scam. He loses everything. 10 million NTD. His house, his life savings. The shame was so absolute that he went into the mountains behind his house and took his own life.
And they didn't find him for over a year.
14 months, his brother found him. That is the real human cost of those high-yield investment messages we all just delete. It destroys families.
There was also that close call, a woman who almost transferred $35 million.
35 million. And she was fighting the police, fighting the bank tellers trying to stop her, shouting, "It's my money, why are you so nosy?" It just shows you the power of the brainwashing.
They build a relationship.
For months, sometimes years. The victim trusts the voice on the phone more than the police officer standing right in front of them.
The sources also mention this guy, Xu Laofa, a copycat.
Yeah, and he shows how this model spread. He wasn't some big warlord, he was a village official, but he saw the four families making billions and thought, I can do that.
He started small.
With 50 people. By the time they caught him, he had 14 fraud parks. It shows that if you cut off the head of the snake, 2 more can grow back if the money is still there.
So let's look at the aftermath. The crackdown happened. The heads of the Bai, Wei, Liu, and Ming families arrested, extradited, sentenced.
Death penalties, life sentences. The 4 families are, for all intents and purposes, dismantled.
Their reign is over.
Politically and structurally, yes. The physical Crouching Tiger Villa is empty. The Iron Triangle is broken.
So can we say mission accomplished?
I think we have to be very careful with that. We've destroyed the supply center, right? The physical headquarters. But have we destroyed the demand?
You mean the demand for the money?
Exactly. The revenue from these scams is in the billions. That kind of money doesn't just disappear because you execute a few warlords. The technology exists. The scripts exist. The lists of potential victims like you and me, they all still exist.
So where does it go?
It decentralizes. It moves to Cambodia, to Laos, to Dubai, or it moves purely online into small cells that are much harder to target than a giant fortress with a tiger pit. The warlord era of scamming might be over.
But the guerrilla era might just be starting.
That's a sobering thought, isn't it? The physical walls are down, but the digital trap is still set.
And it's probably getting more sophisticated.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They're using AI now, deep fakes. The 4 families were analog villains in a digital world. The next generation won't need a tiger pit. They'll just need a server.
So what does this mean for us, for the listener?
It means skepticism is your only armor. If someone offers you a 20% return on crypto, if a beautiful stranger messages you about a business opportunity, if a job offer sounds too good to be true.
It is.
It absolutely is. The Bai family might be in prison, but the person who wants to steal your life savings is still out there, and they are probably using an even better script now.
A heavy but necessary takeaway. We've unpacked the rise and fall of this incredible cyber slavery empire, from blood sacrifices to calculated insanity. It's a reminder that behind every spam text, there's a massive, dark machine.
And while that machine has taken a huge hit, the gears are still turning.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Stay safe, stay skeptical, and we'll catch you on the next one.